This is Jason Voorhees from the remake Friday the 13th figure line by Neca. Neca also released the 18-inch version of this guy, but I think this is a much better figure because the scale is more smaller. He's easier to play around with. He also retained the same amount of detail and sculpting as the big figure, and he's also more articulated. And you know that Masco also released their version of the remake Jason, and that's him right here. And just for the record, the NECA version is about 7 inch 3/4, so you can definitely see the height difference between the two. And yes, this version is also more articulated. So that's that. And initially I thought that if you own the Mesco version, there's no need to buy this one. But as it turns out, this is an awesome figure, and at the end of my review, you will know why. So first feature or accessory, he comes with the machete. There is a brown paint on it to give it a rusty look, but I guess a little red paint would be nice, just like on the Mesco version. And this thing is very long, as you can see, comparing to the classic Jason. This one make this one look like a toy. But indeed, it is a toy, but you know what I'm talking about. Second feature, he come with two heads. This is one of them, and if you're looking at this figure from the outside of the packaging, you probably think that the hockey mask isn't removable because the hair is molded onto the strap of the mask. But in these, it is removable. And well, before I do that, as you can see, the look the look of the mask is very accurate to the film. So there you go. Reveal the real head of Jason, and here for comparison, there's a lot more detail on this head. I think you can see the differences in detail between the two. And very weird is that his hair comes off with the mask. Very, very weird. I mean, well, if you want to make him look a little bit more classic, you can cut off these long hair and put the mask back on. Maybe he can look just like that one. So this is one head, and the second head that he comes with is the back head that he has in the beginning of the movie, and the detail and wash and sculpting each other is great, just like the other head. So you can put it on the figure. And surprisingly, I like this head on the figure more, because he looked way scarier and more menacing with the one exposed eyes. Very nice. Oh, about the machete. If you don't want him to hold the machete, there is this holster that you can fit the machete in there. Very nice, and you don't have to worry about the machete being bent, because the material that they use for the jacket is rubbery, so it's very soft. You don't have to worry about that. And if you have the other accessories that comes with the other Jason figure, you can have him hold it. And the way Neca sculpted the grip, I mean, the grip is perfect to hold his own machete. But if you put this one in there, he can hold it just as well. So you can make him hold this axe. This one come with that one. Or this axe come with the Mesco version, which is that one, and it also fits very well. I also have the pickaxe and the mallet, but the handles are too small for this hand grip. But anyway, it's great. So up glow detail, no need to say there's not a lot to say about the detail because Neca figure, the details are always great. So here's his pants, his shoes. You can see the exposed flesh and blood. There's also a gray wash on the pan to make it look more realistic, and the same sculpt work is done with the jacket. You can see the amount of detail. I'm not sure what these white things are. Maybe they're just the inner layers of the jacket being exposed. But anyway, you can see the dirty spot on his jacket on the back. Nice, very nice. And in the front, very nasty looking, dirty looking shirt comparing to the Mexico version. So, well, articulation. There's a ball joint in the head, ball joint in the shoulder, ball joint in the elbow. He can rotate, and there's a hinge. Even though the hinge is a little bit stiff, you might want to be careful. Ball joint in the wrist, swivel in the waist, no thigh or knee articulation, and but there's a ball jointed knee. Very nice. Usually, on the figure like this, I would complain that he lacks leg articulation. If you know the Terminator 2 figures from the Terminator 2 figure by Neca, they also suffer the same thing. But on this figure, I have to say this type of articulation really works. I guess the point that Neca is trying to tell us is that this type of articulation can work too. I mean, with this figure specifically, you don't need leg articulation because there is no need to pull his leg. He looks good just by standing around, maybe holding his machete pointing forward, or maybe down on his side. I mean, this articulation work. You don't need to pose his leg. And final comparison. Well, just for comparison with this figure, this guy is about same height as this one, taller than this, and the Remake Friday. And if you want to display him next to the Remake Friday, you can do that too. And as you can see, the big height difference. And another comparison I want to give you guys is the 6-inch figure. This is the Iron Man 2 figure, and yes, you can also see the big height difference between the two. This is a very big, tall, and very solid figure, so definitely worth it. Oh, and yes, last thing, I usually do this first, but I guess I kind of forgot. This is the packaging, and you can see the title at the top and his name at the bottom with the hockey mask. On the side, you see the figure with the hockey mask, and here his victim and machete. On the back is the figure with the back head and a little bit of reading about Jason's story about Camp Crystal Lake, but I guess you know that too well already. So the same clamshell packaging as always. So awesome figure. Where can you find it? You can find this figure as at Toys R Us. So you might want to check your local Toys R Us. This figure will cost about $14, but with the amount of detail and sculpting on this figure with articulation, I think that this figure definitely worth the $14 you pay for him. So you might want to pick him up if you are a Jason's fan. So it's certainly a great addition to the other Jason's figure. Certainly Freddy or your other horror figures or collection. So great addition. I highly recommend it. pick him up if you see him at your local Toys R Us. Might cost a little more at your local comic shop, but definitely a must-have figure. Highly recommended. And thanks for watching.